Hello everyone and welcome to my review of K-2SO. Remember, if you enjoyed today's video, hit that like and subscribe button. It is a great and free way to support the channel, and it does mean the world to me. And if you'd like to skip the unboxing, use the timestamps below. This set was released on August the 1st of 2025 at an original retail price of $89.99 USD. It is given set number 75434. It is rated for ages 10 and up and has 845 pieces, which gives this an original price per piece of 11 cents. In the bottom left hand corner, you'll see Cassian Andor and a Stormtrooper. That is an indicator for this set being part of the Andor Season 2 sets. This set only comes with one minifigure, that being K-2SO. On the side of the box, you get the exact same image of K-2SO that you get on the front of the box. On the back of the box, you get a different look at that K-2SO in a different setting. I'm thinking that this is some hangar in Yavin. And in the top right hand corner, you have a highlight that shows you that the arms are posable. Now, opening up your box is quite an easy experience. Simply push in these two tabs here and pull to reveal the contents of your box. Inside of your box, you'll find a total of 8 numbered bags, one relatively small sticker sheet, and lastly, your instruction manual. Taking a look at the final product, I like this one a lot, but then again, I am a huge fan of the buildable character line. And this one is definitely a lot larger than I expected it to be. And the building experience was also incredibly fun with a lot of nice and semi-challenging building techniques, utilizing a bunch of interesting pieces. But before we talk about the primary build, let's first start off with the extras being the minifigure and the display stand. Now, just like the rest of the buildable characters we've received over the past few years, we do get a display stand with a display plaque and minifigure. This is a pretty standard issue display plaque. For the past few years, it is printed with a lot of nice information, and it has that nice blue hologram look to it. Now, you also get the brand new K-2SO minifigure. I think LEGO translated K-2SO from the Star Wars universe into LEGO form incredibly well. He's got that weird lanky look to him, and all of his proportions look pretty accurate. One of my favorite details about this figure is that they print the Imperial logo onto the stems where the arms clip on. He does have a stud on his back, so if you'd like to attach him to something or to attach something to him, you can. This is the exact same minifigure released in the Rebel U-Wing in May of 2025, which I have also reviewed and you can check out. This minifigure does have an older variant that first appeared in 2016, which is the one pictured on the right. This is the one from Krennic's Imperial Shuttle. As you can see, the mold is identical in every way, shape, and form. The only difference is the printing is a lot more bold on the modern figure. It still has the Imperial logo on the stem of the arm, but the older figure has additional worn printing on the top of his head. Yeah, that's not reflection from a light, that is printing detail. As you can see on the other side of his head, there is some more printing to indicate wear, but there is also some additional printing there at the bottom. Now, the wear printing differences make complete sense, as the figure on the right is from Rogue One versus the one on the left is from Andor Season 2, which takes place before Rogue One. Turning our attention back to the build, we can see that K-2SO is standing upon a platform. This is meant for buildable figures that would just be a lot more unstable if they didn't have these. Other figures like C-3PO and Chewbacca have had this, but they've all done it in different ways and different colors. I can definitely see some people complaining about these not being completely uniform to one another. Now, unlike the other two figures, K-2SO is a little bit different, and he can actually be removed from his display stand. And yes, he does stand on his own without needing to be balanced, but he does tip over relatively easily. But I think this gives you a nice little bit of freedom. Taking a look at K-2SO's long legs here, I think they did a phenomenal job when it came to capturing the lanky look of these legs. When it comes to articulation in the legs, there is absolutely zero. What you see here is about as much as it gets. There's no movement in the ankles, in the knees, or the hips, which is a little unfortunate because it makes this less fun to play with. Speaking of the knees, I think LEGO did a good job adding detail to this model, and the knees is one of those areas where they did that, using pieces like Technic joints and some dish pieces in order to get some nice looking angles in there. Moving on up, they did a good job making the thighs look nice and smooth, but my interest is primarily with the hip area. I think they did a fantastic job with all of those sharp angles. They used some of those angled slope bricks, and it just makes those areas look nice and sharp. And then they use a couple different pieces to make up what looks like hydraulics next to that big stickered piece, and that sticker adds a lot of nice detail there as well. Flipping him over to take a look at his backside, you can see a bunch of those different sharp angles continuing here. Moving up ever so slightly on his torso, you can see that they continue with those nice sharp angles. But getting into this section of the build, we're actually starting to see more and more roundness to the figure. And then finishing off some detailed talk with a quick look at his head, I think they did a phenomenal job translating the head of a BX droid into Lego form. Utilizing a Technic pins for his eyes is incredibly clever, and I love the way that this thing turned out. Now the head has some decent articulation to it, being able to move the neck backwards and forwards and also spin 360 degrees around. You can wiggle the head side to side and forwards and backwards. But the neck also has a hinge in it, so you can get a couple of different poses and some articulation very close to the head, and you can make him kind of shrimp. Now when it comes to the arms articulation, you can spin them 360 degrees, but there is a limiting factor in the shoulder pads. If you try and lift the arms up too high up, the shoulder pads fall right off, making him look incomplete. Now the elbows have a lot of movement, allowing you to do 180 degrees up and down, as well as 360 degrees around, making the elbows possibly the most posable thing on this entire figure. The hand and the wrist area also has a lot of movement, it has a ball joint, and the Technic pin is connected to can spin 360 degrees around, giving you a lot of range of motion in the arms, which makes K-2SO a relatively posable figure. Is he as posable as the B1 battle droid? No, but he is still really fun to play with. The shoulder pads just restrict a lot of the movement in the arms here. Now surprisingly, there is some movement in the torso of K-2SO. He can spin side to side, but this is the limit of that motion. When it comes to the hand, the fingers are individually posable, so you can make him have a fist, he can open his hand completely out, you can make him do all sorts of things with his fingers. So all in all, K-2SO is relatively posable, but not nearly as much as the most recent B1 buildable battle droid. Now there are a few clever part usages I want to point out here, like these little rubber band or washer pieces. This one here is just floating. It's not connected to anything, it just kind of lays there, but it adds a nice splash of detail to the neck area of K-2SO. Now these rubber bands are also there on the side of K-2SO's arms, but in yellow, and they are attached to something. Also, can we just take a moment to appreciate how well the arm socket is designed on this figure? It looks incredibly clean. And I love the design of the upper torso with all of the nice rounded and sloped pieces used to create the curvature you see here. And I also love the inclusion of these little pieces here. I don't know why, I just think they look super nice and my attention is always drawn to them whenever I see this model. And I like this little section up here. It just looks like a nice little bit of greebling and I think it looks fantastic. There are a lot of stickers on this set, but I think they all look fantastic and add quite a bit of detail that wouldn't be there otherwise and improves the model greatly. Would I like it if these were printed instead of stickers? Absolutely, but these stickers are executed properly with good color matching, so these stickers are a W. Now putting K-2SO next to a bunch of the buildable characters that we have received over the past few years, I think he looks pretty great amongst them. Now K-2SO is supposed to be in scale with Chewbacca, C-3PO, R2-D2, and Chopper, but there is some discussion in the LEGO Star Wars community about whether or not he is in scale. And at least to me personally, I think he's definitely close enough in order to count, but if you want to be super technical, no, he's not in scale. But I guess at the end of the day, it all comes down to personal preference and what you want out of your LEGO Star Wars sets. Do you want your sets to scale with one another, or do you just want a really cool, big version that has a lot of nice details? For me personally, that's what I want. So with all of that being said, what are my thoughts on the set and is it worth picking up for $90 US? And at least in my opinion, I can honestly say, yeah, I think this set is worth its price tag. I think this might be the only set in the August wave that is truly worth what they're asking for it. Especially once you realize that this set is $70 cheaper than the Turbo Tank and comes with 30 more pieces. August wave aside, this is a great set that has some decent articulation. I do wish it had some articulation in the legs at all, like the knees should bend and the hips should probably bend as well. but that was definitely sacrificed for details, and I just don't know if it was worth it. Now, the details on this set are incredible, and the building techniques are incredibly fun to build and put together. The stickers are great and add a lot of nice detail, so those aren't a problem. The only problems I have with this set is that there's no articulation in the legs, and that the shoulder pads greatly restrict movement in the arms. But with those problems laid out, I give this set an 8 out of 10. It's a great little set and it's worth the pickup. But that's all I have to say on this set. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you found this video helpful for your purchasing decisions. If you did enjoy the video or found it helpful, please let me know by leaving a like, consider hitting that subscribe button, and join the community Discord. I'd love to chat with you. And until next time, stay bricked up and enjoy what you love.